Good evening, Chair Livingston and members of the DRB. My name is Tootie Marr. I'm the Executive Director of Pogo Park. We're a nonprofit working in Richmond for the past 15 years to transform parks in the Iron Triangle into safe, green, and vibrant places for children to play. Our focus has been creating parks in the Iron Triangle. So far, we have 2 parks. One is Elm Play Lot, and the second is Harbour-8 Park. We also have our 3rd project is our Yellow Brick Road project, which is a safe bike and walking route through the Iron Triangle that connects our 2 parks together. We're here tonight to present on the Harbour-8 expansion project. Wanted to talk first quickly about the process that we used to come up with the design for Harbour-8 Park, which was unique. First of all, we assembled a talented team of people from the neighborhood, and this core team worked for months to create an overall conceptual design for Harbour-8 Park. And then over months as well, we actually created a full-scale 3D model on site for the whole general layout of the park. And then we assembled a talented and committed design team that helped to bring our conceptual design into a set of plans. So we've been lucky to partner with Scientific Art Studio, a Richmond business, who is helping us with to actualize the design for the park. Goring and Straja, an extremely talented team of architects to help us do the design for the buildings for Harbour-8 Park. Roseanne Del Bello, he is the landscape architect. And finally, our beloved engineer, Robert Stevens from CSW. So what I want to do is turn this over now to Ron Holtheisen from Scientific Art Studio to review the concept that we have for the park design. Ron?
Yeah, thank you, Tootie, and good evening, Design Review Board. Thank you for taking the time to look at all this. Just what Tootie said, all these people that came in, the architect, the landscape architect, they were all selected, and some of them had to leave early in the process because it didn't work out, to work with the Pogo Park team. So this project is a community team-driven project, not driven by what we call the specialists. So you see on this, I'm not going into a lot of details, we can talk about the details later, but the overall view is there is this big piece of land that slowly has been acquired through the help of Pogo Park and the city. It's a unique collaboration. The Pogo Park team has developed concepts based on that original drawing that you see behind me here. That was also based on all the ideas of the Pogo Park team and the broader community. As I have heard the chair already and Roberta say, the list of features that are in this area, the building and all the play features and the barbecue. There's in the set there are details that we can talk about. So, but there's only a little time, so maybe we can move through this relatively quickly. This is an overview. It still has a slightly schematic look, but in real life, it hopefully will be all handcrafted by hopefully local residents and the Pogo Park team. Next one, please. We have, we try to do iconic elements and scenic elements, and again, everything it will be custom built except the off-the-shelf swings and that kind of stuff. So we save some money on one end, to the other end, we hopefully have the money to build the amazingly cool and unique pieces. This is water and sand play, where for the kids, for the little ones, this is, keep going. Tot play, that's for the littlest ones, with parents being able to sit inside the kind of protected area, so not that the older kids are stampeding over the little ones. We have really good practical experience with that on Elm. A very exciting escape from the volcano zip line. This was really visualized and tested by the people from the Pogo Park team. We built test samples in the woods near Yosemite many years ago, and they're working really well. It's our own engineering and design. Keep going. This is an off-the-shelf item to make sure that we also have the ADA compliance and parallel play opportunities. Keep going. This is the picnic area. This is a perfect example of what the Pogo Park team is able to build themselves. They designed and built already prototypes, and hopefully we can integrate those in this picnic area. Keep going, Tudi, please.
Okay.
Oh, that's it? No. Oh, and then Tudi, I would like you to take over quickly. Lily Mae Jones was the visionary that drove the change of the railroad into the Greenway. And unfortunately, she passed away a couple of years ago, but we wanted to honor her in this piece of public art that is under development. From here, we'll take it to the landscape architect, Roseanne Del Bello, please. Roseanne, are you there?
Me admit her to the meeting. I apologize.
Okay.
You didn't let her in yet? Yeah, we have that same thing. We never let her in either because she's the landscape architect.
Hello, Roseanne.
Stay outside.
I think she's in. Hello, Roseanne.
How about now?
Yes, we hear you.
Oh, and to start the video. I never talked to this many people from my bedroom. I'm
Oh.
sorry. Anyway, sorry, the hardscape. So many of the surfaces that are shown on the hardscape plan are the traditional surfaces for the safety under play equipment. The largest area of the surfacing is the interlocking pavers, and that's the kind of reddish tinge on that diagram. And the color was selected for these the design for the concrete pavers because it ties together the various components of the entire site. So there's on Harbor Way, there is the brick seat wall, and then there will be one on 8th Street, and then it kind of ties in, the reddish brown color ties in with the muted colors of this of the community center. So that's our hardscape plan. And would you go to the landscape plan, please? So the landscape plan is predominantly trees and the bioswale, and the purpose of all these bioswales is that all the water generated will be cleaned up on site. And it's just a nice concept. And then the trees, the existing trees are, they're rare specimens of oaks from around the world. And they were, I think I can say they were donated partially by Apple Computer. And so we want to keep those and work around them and have them become a really fantastic component of the botanical nature of this park. And then the bioswales, that's for cleaning up the water. And so going back to the landscape plan, which, it's not traditional to have just basically trees and bioswale. It does function in this site because it provides the shade, and it also provides lines of viewing into the site for security. So we're sticking with it so far. Anyway, next for lighting. The existing lighting of the Greenway path is currently somewhere between 0.4 foot candles and 4 foot candles. So it's not an enormously bright Greenway. And what we wanted to do was to provide some lighting, a center area of lighting that would work with the community center for providing basically movement and egress through the entire park. And what we would like to do is we worked with the community before when they did the first development of the lighting in the first development, and that's we believe in the dark skies. We do not want to make this have a lot of overflow lighting into the senior center or any other of the residential areas or anywhere else here. We're trying to keep the concentration of the light on the property. Next slide, please.
Excuse me, may I ask a question about the lighting before we continue?
Yes.
The plans were so small that we got that I could not make out any of the specifications at all. It's just this blur. So my question to you, since you have maybe a better resolution in this specification here, but I couldn't tell if they were what color the LED light was.
Well, I think that we'll always be picking some kind of warm light. We have the choice, I think. And, you know, I think that's the answer, but I think we were for the street light. I mean, for the greenway lights, we were matching exactly what the city used. For our lights, if you go to the next slide, please. So we're using this fun zone light post and fixture. It's you can see can you see the photo?
Yeah, I mean, the fixture is nice. I was just wondering, and maybe we can move on and not belabor it, but just make note that the city doesn't want anything more than 3,000 K on your LEDs, and they must be shielded. You don't have to get into it. Just make sure that when you come back that's not, that you don't have anything more than 3,000. Okay.
But we did that. It was 2,700. Now that you say the magic word, 2,700.
Okay, good.
We did not. Yes, we know that, and thank you. We did it. Okay, so one last slide is the fence. There was some interest in the fence, what we would be doing for fencing. And this slide indicates what is now existing. And then the legend is a little complicated, but it's trying to show it all. So it is a combination of wood fence and brick wall and ornamental iron fencing. And so there will be ornamental iron fencing on the church parking lot. There is ornamental iron fencing on the senior facility. And I think if we had all the money in the world, there would be ornamental iron fencing on all of our fencing. But at this point in time, I'm going to say, let Douglas, the architect, talk to you about our entrance to, what you see on the Ohio Street side. And thank you very much for all of you working as volunteers for this design review committee board. Thank you.
Thank you, Roseanne. So I know there was interest in the Ohio Avenue elevation. So we want to make sure that we can present that to you clearly. So predominantly is an existing wood fence that was constructed by Lawrence Construction, who happens to have their office at Harbor and the corner. And so they're a part of our neighborhood. The community members plan for the interest to be from the park. And I think that's critical for the design review board to understand. We are looking at opening up the existing fence at the main hall, introducing some more transparent wrought iron fencing. So to, again, help bring the community center forward into Ohio Avenue. And then the park entrance arch on Ohio Avenue is similar to the Harbour-8 arch that was approved and constructed in 2019. So the intent is that there's 4 entry points into the park, and that each entry point will have a celebratory arch again, similar to the existing arch that occurs on Harbor Way. Next. So the heart and center of the project is the main hall. And so it is surrounded by the sporting spaces. So it's a fairly simple plan. Sports spaces consist of a kitchen, restrooms, and a staff office. It's envisioned that the main hall will support classes, meetings, parties, events. Pogo Park has also developed a partnership with the East Bay Center for Performing Arts. It's hoped that they'll be able to provide performances in the future as well. Next. So the community wanted a strong grand gable form for the main hall and then simple shed roof forms for the support spaces. They also wanted to incorporate a covered porch adjacent to the building entrance. Next. So here's a more detailed view of the Ohio Avenue elevation. Again, it's important to understand that the community wanted to set the building back and keep the fencing for security. However, we thought it would be much nicer for the Ohio Avenue to pull back the fencing at the grand south window and again, introduce the transparent wrought iron fencing. Next. So the materials for the building are a simple palette of stucco walls, metal standing roofing, and exposed wood framing. Windows and doors will be wood with metal cladding, and there'll be decorative medallions, window and door surrounds, and a water table constructed of cast concrete, designed and constructed by Scientific Art Studio. Next. The color palette of neutral stucco colors and green metal roofing are contextual with the neighboring buildings. Exposed wood framing will be stained. And you see here an example of a concrete medallion. The intent is to have images that are inspired from native animals of Richmond. Exterior lighting consists of decorative lighting on north patio and east porch, which will not be visible from the public right away. And perimeter security lighting will be full cutoff, simple wedge forms. Next. Community residents wanted the community center to be iconic and different from typical buildings in the neighborhood. They developed a design, built full-scale mock-ups to determine the width and height of the structure. We hope that this view represents to you that this will become a much beloved addition to the Iron Triangle. And Tootie, I think you wanted to step back in.
Great. Okay. Thank you so much, team. And the last thing that I wanted to leave with prior to opening up for questions from the DRB members is just to just wanted to focus or to bring your attention to the timeline. The funding for this came from the state of California Prop 68 grant, and we're very tight on timing. So we're really hoping to getting to construction by the next summer, and then have the project finished by the first part of 2024. So we have been working like mad to get these, get the design completed, and we're really looking forward to spending the next, this month and next, working with the DRB to try to get approval for this to move forward so we can get into the construction document phase. So what I will do now is stop sharing now. One thing too is with the if Roberta, it's possible to give Douglas Thornley the ability to share his screen because he has all of the documents. So what we wanted now was just to open it up to Chair Livingston and members of the DRB for any of your questions or comments. And Douglas has all the key plans that we can bring in just to bring up on screen in case you have any questions.
And if Tootie, if I could mention to Roberta, it's a one-story structure. It's not a two-story structure. I think it was introduced as a two-story structure. So I want to make that clear.
Yep, got it. Well, thank you very much, Tootie, and your team. Fantastic opportunity for the citizens of Richmond. Thank you guys for your continued effort. And we're going to open it up to the board for their comments. I've been out there numerous times, I'm sure, and I've heard the other board members have been too, some of them. Been traveling Ohio all my life and have been through it all. So the experience of going down Ohio was a daily occurrence for me. Glad there's a bikeway. I'm a cyclist, and I want to. And the building's pretty special and awesome. You have a great architect, and great job. I'm going to open it up now to our board. If you have any comments or questions to you, Vice Chair Carter, start with you this time.
All right, thank you, Chair Livingston. And yeah, just right off the bat, great project, very well presented. So thank you for making Richmond a better place. This is spectacular. The pavilion or meeting hall, is that, I didn't see like a super clear site plan. Is that more or less going to land on the axis with 9th Street?
Yes, not on the axis. The entry arch will be on axis with 9th Street. We'll be just to the side of that, to the west.
I see. Okay, so can you bring up a
Site plan?
shot that shows me that?
Let's see. Oops. Am I sharing?
I'm not seeing your screen right now.
I am not either. Share screen. Which is on. Okay, can you see it now?
Okay, I see. Yeah.
9th Street is here, and here. Ohio is here. This is the community center.
Yeah, I see. So 9th Street to the, I guess just call it south, plan south there.
It would a little bit.
Right. So okay, because I was just imagining, I was kind of thinking how when one is on the south 9th, I guess, and you're looking north, how the community center, if it were sited kind of on that axis, would be a pretty cool site terminus, it seems to me. But I think the move by putting the gateway is also compelling as an inviting component. So
can I respond? If you look at the big climbing feature, that sphere, that circle, that is set by the Pogo Park team at that spot. So it will be an eye catcher in all the directions, even if you're on the Greenway or you're coming from 9. It will be a stunning piece.
okay. All right. Thank you for walking through that. I mean, I really don't have a whole lot to contribute as far as constructive criticism. I think that you guys have been very thoughtful since from the beginning and bringing in the community. So I wouldn't presume to question what the neighborhood wants as far as program goes. And I think the execution about just laying out the landscaping and choosing materials and colors looks superb. So I have nothing to offer other than my thanks and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vice Chair. Our board member Butt.
Hello, exciting to have you guys here. Thank you for this great presentation. I love the background organization. Fabulous.
Backwards one too.
Yeah, it just adds a little interest. No, it looks great. I'm of course, really excited about it. So this, just to clarify, we're looking at the one building and the park, and that's all we have right now on the table. Okay.
Correct.
And this is going, and is this a recommendation to planning commission or is this an approval? Sorry, this is really a question for
study
staff.
session.
What, Roberta?
It's just a study session, so they
Oh,
would
it's
come
just a
back
study
for a
session.
recommendation to the planning. Commission.
Okay. Oh, I thought we were already moving along. We're just at a study session.
That's what
Okay.
we want.
Yeah.
We would love to move along.
All right. No, I appreciate that you're working with how to interact with Ohio. I think we all know that's the biggest challenge here. Is having something to enhance that street front, while still having the kind of protection and security that you're looking for on the site. I think this is a step in the right direction. I like that you opened it up a bit. I've been seeing emails going back and forth and, wonder if Jonathan has anything else up his sleeve tonight in terms of recommendations. I'll be curious to see, but I think it's going in the right direction, and yeah, great job. I don't really have anything to make it better. So I
Thank
don't
you.
know, not super constructive, not very constructive criticism. Glad to see it
Thank you
going.
very much, Board Member Butt. Board Member Hook.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for the presentation. It's really exciting. I had the opportunity to come to the site and see the mock-up, which is amazing. And I think your process and the way that you've engaged so many community members, even engaging, the board members to come out, is really, really exciting and really appreciative for building Richmond. And I feel like I'm in the same boat. I guess as far as, critical comments, I guess really what I have is just questions. And the first question being, we were talking about lighting, and I noticed sort of by the volcano zip line, which I really hope has the steam. I think that was maybe an idea. That zip line area, that lighting doesn't seem like there's lighting there at all. And I was just wondering the reasoning. It seems like it's right in the dark corners. Thinking about security, what was that thought process for no lighting in that area?
Do you want the honest truth?
Can-
It's called money.
No,
Yeah.
I can respond to this because we
Mm.
have to stay within that budget. So the grant has very specific requirements, and yeah, we would like to have more money for the lighting, and we would put definitely lighting in that corner. So that would, the magic of Tootie and Pogo Park is that they probably will be able to get that money to do additional lighting, but we didn't want to present more than we can afford at this moment. So is that a good answer, Tootie? Is that correct?
Yeah, that's a thing. I mean, just to highlight, when Pogo Park adopted Harbour-8's park back in 2008, so it's been 9 years now, and we've been actually doing the development of the park in stages. As we get a little bit more money, that we do more. So this money coming in from the state parks is helping us go out and leverage more money. We want to tackle the lighting, and Michelle, you're totally just right on that. We want to have the entire park just lit. So right now what we're doing is getting through what is needed for the grant requirement, and simultaneously we're out right now trying to do a capital campaign to raise more money for Harbour-8, to put in the lighting, to put in more of the fencing, and also to tackle some of the questions that the DRB members have brought up, most notably Chair Livingston, about the entry to Harbour-8 Park on Ohio, which he's totally right, is that we have to really also tackle Ohio. How do we slow the traffic down? How do we make Ohio more inviting? And then have the kind of grand entranceway that comes in through that. So I'm just asking the board to be patient that we've been doing this in sections. So this is like, Camp 2 before we get to Camp 3, Camp 4, and we summit Mount Everest. So that I do believe that all of us are in the same page, is that we want the lighting, we want the fantastic fencing, we want the entrance. So many of the comments that we've gotten from members of the DRB have been like, it shows that we're in line. What we've got to do is like, just first thing, satisfy the grant requirements from the state. So we're coming in at kind of like a modest level now, but we're going all out, raising more money from philanthropy and other sources to like do the next phase of Harbour-8.
And I want to make sure that, Tootie, you said slowing down the traffic, but that does not include bicycles, right?
No, but yeah, but I mean, Chair Livingston's been in Ohio. We've lived on Ohio now for 9 years. I cannot tell you, probably 35 car crashes right outside of our place. I mean, it's just like a freeway. So, and also 9th Street, opening up 9th Street is going to be huge, because people from the south side now could come through the gateway at Harbour-8 and go straight to Kaiser, straight to downtown Richmond. So it's been like a deer path that has been cut off. So we're really excited to open the door, but we also have to tackle the Ohio crossings, the slowing traffic down to really make that 9th Street entrance come alive.
I see. Yeah. No, understood about the phasing, and I really hope that comes through, and let the DRB know, or if we can help in some way to get that extra
Introduce us
lighting
to Bill
or
Gates.
fencing.
Introduce us to Bill Gates. Michelle. Get him in
One day.
Richmond.
No, it's really exciting. And I think as far as the entry, I think that the way that the building is set, I think also when I was out there, I was really excited to see seating right along that entry walk, just to kind of have eyes on the street, and the way that you thought about the inclusive play is really great. So just applaud to the work that's currently been done. Thanks.
And thank you too for taking your time to come out and see our site, and also to Kim as well for doing that. I know you're all busy, and I just thank you for taking your time.
Great. Thank you, Board Member Hook. Board Member Leong, any comments, observations, questions?
Yeah, thanks for Livingston. Thank you so much for the presentation and the work that you have been doing, your agencies and the multiple parks. I mean, this is really an example of community engagement at its excellence because of how you're engaging the community. And I really appreciate that. And I also understand the funding restraints of the states, and also the pressure and the schedule that what you have to satisfy in phases. So this is really great. I don't have a lot of comments. I just have one, but some questions. First of all, I really applaud you having a multitude of activities. I think it's really cool. Makes me want to go there too. And an ADA zip line and a zip line. So the attention to being inclusive in terms of the amenities is really great. So I appreciate that. I'm just curious about the flooring of the park. Lots of patterns, if that represents something and it's intentional with the design. And then also with the art mural, if you're going to have residents participate to also do the art piece. And then I just have one comment is eventually it would be really great if some of the wood benches can be replaced with more durable materials, just because I think wood can deteriorate over time. So something to consider. But my two questions are just the art on the ground floor and also the mural.
So just to respond to your question about the art. Yeah, I mean that everything, all the artwork we've ever done at Harbour-8 Park and at our first park, Elm Play Lot, has all been created by people from the community. So we will continue that. We've also we're very close with Richmond Arts Center. We're very close with NIAD. So we believe deeply in all the public art should be local. So we're going to be following that. What was your question too?
The
The other,
same mural, same. mural.
Oh, the mural and the benches, right?
yeah, the benches too. Yeah, so correct.
Shall I answer that
noted.
about the benches, Judy?
Thank you,
We have
Ron.
a photograph of them.
So the benches are, of course, again, not off the shelf. Those are designs by the Pogo Park team and the people from the community and Scientific Art Studio. These are benches that are made out of, salvaged redwood and boulders. And the team already has made has made already several series of these benches, and they maintain them also every couple of years. They sand them and then seal them again. So for example, at Elm, I believe that those benches are there since 2010 or something like that, right? Or
Yeah, 2014. So,
Oh, 14.
they're
So that
8
is-
years. Yeah.
that is a pretty good lifespan, and they have another 10 years in them at least. So maybe because of the philosophy is the more natural materials we can include, the more the materials can be processed by the people from our teams, because each element is an opportunity for people from the community to learn a skill or a trade that goes from metalwork to, like Tom's shop is Tom Lawrence, the general contractor. His building is actually on the property. So people from the community, from the team from Pogo Park can go there and work with Tom, master carpenter, top end shop to create this stuff. The same with our studio on the Scientific Art Studio. People from the team come to our place to make these things. Even if it would fall apart a little bit after 10 years, the idea is that there are people in the offspin of this process that can remake these. So that's why we're a little bit less concerned about, forever. I think 10 years is a pretty good lifespan for a custom-made bench. But so that is the reason. And we could cast these in concrete and they're, indestructible, but we do that also at our studio. So if that is if the team decides, oh, we want to do concrete benches, that they do it that way and they make them look like wood or they make them look like terrazzo. So yeah, every element in this playground and in this building is an opportunity for local people to get involved in the actual creation of it.
I appreciate that. When you zoom in and I see it's redwood and the stump, it changes the whole dynamic, because when I just look in the plan, it looks like a typical bench, but this is actually quite cool. And I appreciate the job training aspect too.
Yeah.
So this is great. Thank you.
Yeah. And one thing we've done is we've had a 10-year relationship with the wood recycling place down in south side of Richmond. So we're getting all the salvaged redwood, and then we've been cutting it and sanding it and creating benches and fences made out of this recycled wood from Richmond. So it's just been a wonderful relationship.
Thank you. And that's very sustainable. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Board Member Leon. I guess it's time for me to jump in there and talk about the only thing I think the rest of the park is awesome. I think to Tody, I related some of my feelings to you, and thank you for forwarding that to the rest of the team. You have one of the best architects in the entire Bay Area working with you here. I'm familiar with their work. In fact, I was on one of their job sites today down in Portola Valley. There's a priory school there that they did the work on, And it's just, they're a great architecture firm, and they've done a beautiful building here. My only request is if you could please allow that architect to use their sense of proportion and scale and context, and allow them a little bit more latitude to work out into the project a little bit, to integrate that building and let it blend more with the fencing and the landscaping and the arrival experience. When I drive down Ohio, there's so much clutter and wrecked cars or whatever, that if you don't have a powerful statement there, citizens are going to drive right by this thing and not even know it's there, because that's just Ohio. It's just, junkyard, dogs, nice building, junky things. And so when I saw the building design, I was like, wow, this is really cool. But then it's set back so far that no one's going to know it's there unless you encourage the design team to kind of reach out and grab the citizens and say, hey, you got a great place here. And so I'm encouraged to encouraging the team to, allow the architects to bring the building architecture and let it merge with the entry element off Ohio. And to further strengthen that idea, you have also Mr. Stevens there with you. And I would strongly encourage your team to do a bulb out right at the 9th Street, Ohio entry arch there, so that the street narrows, so that you can sort of slow traffic down right at the key intersection where your entry is. Bring some landscaping out, bring some paving out, colors, let people say, wow, what's here? And so you have a great opportunity. And I'm just being firm on this because I see it so clearly. And you have a great architect. I mean, like, let them loose, man. Here is what Kim was talking about. Let me get that camera.
I just knew
Yeah.
he'd have done a sketch. I hadn't seen it.
Yeah, so these are on my desk here. The arrow being the center line of 9th Street, and there's the bulb out. It's really, you could do this. You could really create it. You could really create a dynamite entry there. And and also the fencing. I don't know why you would, on God's earth, you'd continue iron fencing in front of that beautiful architecture. It's sort of a crime. And so, on the architecture side, that's too friggin' bright. I would really encourage the architects to take their architecture and blend it in the horizontal fencing, the arbors, really create a strong sense of arrival here. Go ahead and be playful with your pogo park and some steel, but bring the architecture across, bring that plastered, that beautiful building, bring the lines, the horizontal lines. Just really announce that arrival, really play it up. Let the architecture extend across the entry, grab the people.
We know who's going to be our next member of the phase 2 for the entry.
Oh,
So
you're a great politician.
You are invited. I mean, the one thing that we've gotten, we've been fortunate to really figure out how to get these urban greening grants and some of this Caltrans grants to kind of do street improvements. This grant from the state, Chair Livingston, will not pay for anything outside of the boundaries of the park. They won't pay for sidewalks. They won't pay for street improvements. So we have to get that. So I just want to state here, you are totally right, and we agree. There's nothing, you're completely right. So, and we would like to really work on a whole master plan for Ohio and for the whole entrance to Harbor, the south entrance on 9th Street to Harbour-8 Park. And we know exactly now who can be on the committee to help us figure it out.
Well, you've got one of the best civil engineers also. You've got Mr. Stevens there, who probably knows of a couple of sources of ways to, traffic calming. There's probably funding in other places for that sort of thing in the city of Richmond. And maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. He's the one that would be the go-to there. But that would be the ideal thing. I mean, Ohio is a great opportunity.
Yeah.
It's just people and businesses, and it's just waiting to be decorated. And you got a great building going in. Come on, don't put a fence in front of it. Let the people feel it. Let them experience it. God, that great architecture behind an iron fence. Come on.
Well, you can see through it. Come on.
Come on, man. You let the architect loose with that thing and the entry gate, and but the entry gates you have on the two sides, that's way too small a scale to have as an entry next to that building. That building needs to have big shoulders. It needs to be grounded, and then that little you could repeat the theme, the Pogo Park theme, but not the little iron pipes. That's just not going to work next to that architecture. Anyway,
Yeah.
That's it for my comments. They're pretty big, but so is this project.
Yeah, so the moment your first comments came in, the first response from Douglas's office was, he is right? Like, so that was good. What we try to get, since we have to comply with the grant deliverables, these thin steel structures are basically a placeholder and a core for a bigger plan in the future. We try to place something that then we don't have to demolish, or it doesn't take a lot of work to change it. If once we get more money and we can create, for example, this big arch. At this moment, it looks, Tudi can speak for that, and probably Manil, who's on the call here, can speak for that, that at this moment, the grant budget does not allow for a big thing, but we hope to be able to create something that can allow for the big idea when the money comes in. So.
All right, well, I don't know. I'm sure you guys can figure all that out, but one of the things that degrades from the architecture is the street front, those little shed roofs that are on there. They almost look like sheds, and it's almost like it's an afterthought. So I would encourage the architects to let the architecture come out and grab those, use that area to strengthen the architecture. Right now it looks like it's a little add-on shed, and it takes away from the beautiful building that you guys have designed. So, okay, those are the comments from the board. Awesome project, you guys. Be happy to share my sketch if you want it, but I really encourage you guys to let the architects loose on that entry gate. So, okay.
Okay.
Public,
Board member, any more comments? No, do we have any public comments, Roberta?
if any members or attendees would like to register a comment on this item, please press the raise your hand icon on the bottom of your screen, or *9 if you're calling by phone. Okay, there are no hands raised.
Awesome, great. Again, thank you guys. Keep it
Thank
going.
you. Thank
All
you.
weekend.
What is next? I mean, what's the next part of the process?
So the next part of the process would be to come back to the design review board to request a recommendation to the planning commission, and then you would need a conditional use permit. So you'd come back here
When's that?
when you can address the comments or update the plans.
Okay.
Well,
Thank
you can
you.
come back.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I just want to publicly say thank you to Roberta for helping to coordinate this for both sides. And thank you to the DRB for your time and comments, thoughtful comments. Thank you.
Thank you,
Back
2D
up.
and team. Have a good evening.
Yeah, thank you very much. Looking
Yep.
forward
Hey,
to
guys,
next
great
meeting.
job.
Appreciate the comments.
Okay. Adios.
Adios.